They don't want it in the
Yeah,
broadcast.
it's in the broadcast,
Uh-huh.
the link. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
You did a great job of getting that thing on. Yeah, because she actually sent it to him this morning and then gave him that page that extracted from it. So
So what was it, the executive officer didn't know what the process was?
I don't know because she never came back and said anything. So I don't know what the confusion was. Karen Jackson was
Because Harriet, because she sent it, I'm sorry. But she sent the email to Teresa, and then she copied, this is the one before you, she copied me. I was a banker, and then she sent another one with you linking me to Teresa.
that board said this thing she filed the whole she just like this thing. And she said she was 67 years old. She never came back. She was like, "Oh, she was." And I was just saying, because I was concerned.
A couple minutes. Give them a couple minutes.
So when's the kids going to stay at school for? Happy summer. So you think we should go because I'm
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with our seminar for this afternoon. I'd like to first welcome you all to one of our presentations or seminars for 2016. Our theme for this year is Touching Lives, Changing Lives. And what that means is that we want to be able to provide you all, employees, with beneficial information that you all can learn more about your benefits, be able to be proactive in saving financially for retirement, And so you all can make wise decisions in your career here at CMS. Our presentation for today is Leave and Earnings Statement. And this presentation is to help you. A lot of employees don't view their Leave and Earnings statements, unfortunately. And when they notice that there's a change in the amount that comes up, they want to call our division and say, what's that? Well, I didn't know this was being taken out. Well, how can I get that off? So we want to be able to show you what is actually on the Leave and Earnings statements. I know there's a lot of acronyms that many of you may not be familiar with, so we want to point out to you what those acronyms are, what the benefits are that you may have and may not be aware, and how you can read your Leave and Earnings statements and therefore know what's coming out of your check, and if there's something incorrectly, you can be able to determine it bi-weekly when you get your Leave and Earnings statement. We want to welcome all of you all that are on the line, and we will have questions at the end. Our two payroll specialists, Nellie Younger and Juanita Morton, are sitting down on the floor, but they will be here to assist in providing explanations or clarity to any of you all if you have any questions. So we ask that you please hold your questions until the end of the seminar, and we will give you the opportunity, offer you the opportunity to ask questions at that time. We do have some handouts. If you have not picked up any handouts as you came in the door, please feel free to go into the hallway and get your handouts. For those that are on the line that do not have the handouts, which is the PowerPoint presentation, you can email the HR Center Help Desk at hrcenterhelpdesk@cms.hhs.gov, and they will email you a copy of the presentation for this afternoon. So this afternoon, our very own Director, Diane Shook, will be presenting to you all. And just to give you a brief background on Ms. Diane, she is currently the Acting Director of the Division of Pay and Benefits. Prior to becoming the Acting Director, Ms. Shook served as the team lead for the division. She has almost 40 years of federal service, and many of those years have been in the Human Resources Department. The Division of Pay and Benefits delivers direct service and support to more than 6,000 plus CMS employees through various programs that include payroll, time and attendance, retirement, and insurance services, such as civil service, retirement system and offset, federal employees retirement system, thrift savings plan, the federal employees health benefits, the federal employees group life insurance, federal long-term care, the flexible spending account, and the federal employees dental and vision program. We also assist in the services regarding voluntary leave transfer, leave activities, military deposits, and the CMS HR Help Desk. Pay and benefits touches the lives of all CMS employees, whether that it be when you signed up for health benefits or life insurance, or maybe you needed assistance with a tax form. Employees are our business and our service. We are here to assist you in any way we can. Today, again, we will be discussing the importance of reviewing your leave and earnings statement, the role that our division plays in payroll, and what you need to know while reviewing your leave and earnings statement. So without further ado, I present to you Ms. Diane Shook.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Ms. Andrea. I am very pleased to be here today. I thought the topic was very important to bring to everybody's forefront the attention that we all need to, all stakeholders need to validate and verify information on our pay stub. So as Ms. Andrea pointed out, we have our payroll experts. To my immediate right is Nellie Younger, and to her right is Juanita Morton. If you have any pay concerns, they are the gurus for the agency, and they can help and assist in any way. So when I was preparing for the briefing today, I was comparing it against something I recently went through, and that was the purchase of a new home. After 30 years, I finally bit the bullet and decided to make the change. It was drastic. It was heart-wrenching. But when I went through that process, I knew it was very important that when the documents were coming forward to me to validate, that I had to go line for line in that contract to be sure that information that I relayed to somebody or I submitted a form to an office got, transposed into that official document. So that's just to say the CMS LES that is made available to you every pay period is a contract where you possibly wanted benefits to start or your marital tax, status changed. You want to validate all the information. Because if you're a new employee, you come in, you fill out forms. Later on, a life event would occur, whether that's buying a home, getting married, etc. You can't stop there. You always have to engage us, and that's the purpose of our group. We have a team that is dynamic, they are customer focused, and we want you to call us because we don't want you to be hanging out there later contacting us when a situation arises and a debt is incurred. So that's really the gist of why we're here today and to address any questions that you may have. I also want to extend a warm welcome to the regions and the folks who have taken the time to call in. So we do appreciate that as well. So this is a Payroll 101 course today. And as I said, all stakeholders have a role to play. And we're going to describe to you the importance of reviewing your leave and earnings statement. You're also going to find out how your payroll is transmitted to DFAS. DFAS is the CMS payroll provider, and they've been in effect with our services since 2005. We're going to go over the roles of our Division of Pay and Benefits. We'll discuss some common areas that affect pay issues. We're going to go and review on the screen a mock LES. So we'll go section by section so you can see what it looks like. We can talk about it. Maybe there's acronyms that aren't right clear to you, so we will talk about that in more detail. We're going to talk about the MyPay system, what that can do for you, and at the end, we're going to have a Q&A panel. So some of the goals for today, we are going to let you know that beginning today, if you haven't been doing it already, you're going to want to be verifying your LES. You might be thinking, why do I have to do it? Why do I need to do it? Why is it important? And our obligation is to offer these educational programs to everyone and to offer our personal assistance if something comes up and you need us. So just for example, I just wanted to point out, do some of you know whether you're overinsured for life insurance? Maybe, things have changed. You joined the government and you acquired a lot of insurance, and now your debt may have gone down some, and you don't really need it all. Okay? And maybe there's a qualifying life event like I had mentioned. Marriage, death of spouse, situations change. Also, as new employees come in the room, here on NEO, we talk to them every session about life insurance rates. So most employees get basic, and then you're afforded the opportunity to elect the optional coverage. Do you know that with option B, which is more insurance on you, as you get older, the increments of age 35, 40, 45, 50, those premium rates for that band increase. And employees come down to our office screaming, saying, what happened, what happened, what happened? Well, when you're out having a nice dinner and wine with your significant other, the DFAS system is celebrating with you. Because your next paycheck, those premiums in some cases double in size. So it's imperative that you look at your portfolio and you check in from time to time, just to be sure that everything is accurate. beneficiary forms, everything. So it's not just I come in the government and I forget about it. What's to say if you passed away and you left your monies to an ex-spouse? I don't think that that would be your goal. So it's just always, we have to be mindful of checks and balances and to do our diligence in making sure that our intentions are made with current timing. I also wanted to bring to your attention, I need to go back. I also want to bring to your attention the Division of Pay and Benefits. We have a servicing area. And on the CMS net, it describes the folks that are in the benefits and retirement specialist area, our payroll experts, the voluntary leave transfer program coordinator, the ITAS coordinator, and our HR center help desk, and additional staff members assigned. So I just wanted to point that out because we are broken down in some of the areas by the component that you work in. So why is it important to review your LES? Because you want to be sure that there's no changes or activity since your last review, which hopefully is the prior pay period. So you're going to want to go and compare side by side each LES. So when we get paid our next paycheck, I will take the time to print my current one and validate it against the one for the previous pay period. Surely you want to be sure your banking information is correct. You want to verify the salary and locality, your pay, your grade, and your step are correct. Human errors are made. Sometimes in processing, some within grades might, be a mistake in that they meant to put the year 2015 and they keyed in 2014 instead. So that might look like somebody may have gotten a within grade sooner than they should have. So it's just to be sure that what's on your pay stub is truly accurate. You also want to make sure that the number of hours you worked matches your gross pay. You also want to be sure correct deductions are being withheld for your benefits, like your health, your life insurance, your TSP, your retirement. Previously, we only had a few retirement plans. Now we're up to quite a few. We have civil service, offset, FICA only, which is Social Security. We have FERS, and now under FERS, there's FERS Ray and FERS Fray. So there's a variety of retirements, and there's also different biweekly premiums, deductions that are withheld. So you need to tune into that. Also, if you transferred into the agency from a non-HHS entity, let's say you joined us from SSA being your former personnel office, you have to be sure that all the information that you had at SSA came over with you the day after you left them. If there's any, questions or concerns, you need to let somebody know so that we can rectify any issues regarding that. You also want to be sure that your leave balances match. So what is on your LES? Does that match what's in ITAS? So that's another check and balance. And you also want to check for erroneous debts. Okay, next we're going to talk about payroll processing. How does the information that gets into a system feed into and show up on your pay stub? Well, first, your time and attendance is entered into ITAS. That feed is then transmitted to HHS. HHS receives the data, they process the time and attendance and pay, and then they transmit that information to DFAS. And as I stated, DFAS is the CMS payroll provider. DFAS picks up the information, they process it, and they pay you. So next we're going to go over the roles of the Division of Pay and Benefits. And I have to clearly state, first and foremost, we do not process pay. But let's go over what we do. What we do is we serve as the liaison between CMS employees, our customers, and HHS on payroll matters. We collaborate with DFAS through HHS on payroll matters affecting you. We follow all statutory rules, regulations, and policies affecting pay, and we manage all CMS payroll inquiries sent over to HHS and to DFAS. So what we found common with some of the areas and the issues that come into our office are those areas that affect pay, and the most common is when personnel actions are processed. As I just shared with you, a wrong within grade date being set. Again, if you're a transfer in, you come into the agency, something is miscoded. Another possibility is an error made when entering ITAS. And also we have employee error. And those errors can be discovered when employees use the MyPay system and information that is keyed in gets transmitted to DFAS and it doesn't accept, or sometimes we find employees go right back into MyPay to effectuate the same change. And when DFAS gets it, they're not sure what to do with the information. So what do? Nothing. So with that, I just wanted to add that if there's some transaction that you need to process in MyPay, we would strongly recommend that you wait until the following pay period to make additional changes. Okay, so next we're going to put the pay stub on the screen, and we're going to go over the information that you see when you print your pay stub. So this is Jane Doe's pay stub, and we're going to go over the various sections that you will see on your pay stub, such as your personal information, your current earnings, your deductions, your leave, and benefits paid by the government for you. So under Block 3, you will see your name. Block 4 designates your pay plan, your grade, and your step. And you can always verify this information with any personnel actions that you have. Of course, it would be the most recent. So you would be able to validate that information. Block 7 states your basic pay, and your locality is added to it to come up with the grand total. Block 8 designates the last 4 digits of your SSN. Going over to Block 11, that defines your service computation date for leave purposes only. There again, you would validate that information with your SF50 personnel action. Block 14 shows the bank where your check is direct deposited. Block 17 shows your current tax status and your number of your exemptions. So there you see federal and state, as well as married with single. Block 21 would show your wages, and that is comprised of your gross pay, your taxable, non-taxable wages, tax deferred, all deductions, and your net pay. You will also see your regular pay. You can validate the total hours you worked for the pay period and your gross salary for the pay period. If you've worked any overtime hours or if you're eligible for a retention allowance or a PCA, which is Physician's Comparability Allowance, those payments would be displayed there. And then also we have the column for retroactive earnings, which is prior to the pay period. So that could look like overtime entered from another pay period or hours that were paid retroactively prior to the period. Okay, next section shows you your government and your non-government deductions. So we have two different categories here. So your government deductions will show such as your dental and vision insurance, which is FedVIP, life insurance deductions, your health benefits, your Medicare deduction. If you were wondering what OASDI is, or FICA, F-I-C-A, that's where you're paying 6.2% into Social Security. Then you see your federal and state taxes and your thrift savings plan. And then you keep in mind there's, some segments of TSP, whether you have a TSP loan, whether it's traditional TSP, or did you want your money directed to the Roth TSP? So you have to, to zone in on that and be sure that what's on your pay stub is your desire. Next, you can see your non-government deductions. And these would be deductions as personal allotments, charities, garnishments, whether that would be child support or commercial, a tax levy, or Chapter 13. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit, if I may, to go to slide, I believe, 15. And just to go back over to the PowerPoint, I just want to take us back to the leave portion. When you look at the leave portion, and let me get to 15. Am I there? Am I there? Let me see. Okay, so here you will see your leave categories, and that would be broken down by annual leave, sick leave, holiday leave, administrative leave, time off awards, military leave, and leave without pay. Your leave balances also reflect any leave that's carried over from the prior leave year, leave earned for the current pay period, leave earned for the current year, and leave used in the current pay period. In addition, you'll see the amount of leave used for the year, annual donated leave and returned donated leave, your current leave balances, and your use or lose. The next portion of your pay stub is a very important one and very generous one. This shows you what benefits are paid by the government for you. And as you can see, your health benefits, that's a large sum of money that the government kicks in for us. That's over 70%, 75%. So the benefits paid by the government, you will see the cost for life insurance, health benefits, Medicare, Social Security, and your retirement, as well as the TSP matching contributions. So also we have to be very careful when we read the LES, because included at the bottom are remarks. And it's very important remarks, so that if you use MyPay and you made a change, it will annotate the change at the bottom. And it'll also bring to your attention information such as future open seasons. So like I'll let everyone know now, in September, we're having a life insurance open season. So I'm making you aware of the fact now, but I'm sure you'll also see that coded remark on your pay stub as well. So again, we encourage employees to review your pay stub every pay period. Again, checking in on your pay, your service computation date for leave, your direct deposit, and your tax exemptions and marital status. Now, I talked about state taxes, that is withheld from your paycheck, but I just wanted to bring to your attention a common term known as reciprocal agreements. And I just wanted to let you know that this is an agreement that will allow residents of one state who works in a neighboring state to receive like a tax credit. So that means that you only have to pay taxes in the state that you live. So if the state where you work and the state where you live have a reciprocal agreement, you are exempt from income taxes on any wages earned in the state where you work. So there's a handout that we've provided, and then if you have any, concerns, you can reach out to Miss Nellie or Miss Juanita. So you also want to validate your current earnings, your deductions. That I think is really just stressing the importance of that. And we want to also let you know that DFAS is our payroll provider, that employees have access to MyPay right at your desktop through the AMS, and that's the automated system where you don't have to fill out a form any longer and, bring it into HR or scan it. You have total control of your record where you can make changes, such as open season changes for health benefits. You can process your home address change. You can change your start or stop allotments and tax withholdings. You can also access your W-2 and your IRS Form 1095, and you can also print your LES or just view it. So this PowerPoint slide gives you the website for accessing MyPay and our payroll point of contact information, the telephone number and emails for our resident experts. So with that, I think I covered a lot of information. And again, it's very critical that employees take control of our pay, make sure that it's correct, make sure that that contract is signed, sealed, and delivered in the way that you want it to, record your payments and deductions from salary. So I'd like to turn it over to our panel of experts, and we'd like to take any questions from the audience. We'll start in central office first, and may I ask that you come to the microphone and you state your questions so that our folks on the phone in the regions can hear both the question and the answer. Thank you for your time.
So, I do not have health. I have a family with 2 children, and my husband has had health insurance through his employment, but I would like to switch that during open enrollment. Can I do that through MyPay, or is that something I would have to do through HR?
Okay, so if you need to change or enroll in health benefits for open season,
Yes.
That is the only time that you can enroll through MyPay.
Okay.
Yes. So if you needed to enroll outside of open season, you would have to fill out a hard copy election form. But during open season, they do open up MyPay for health benefit elections.
Could I do that now, or do I have to wait till open season? I was thinking I'd have to wait.
If you have a qualifying life
I
event.
don't have a qualifying.
So
life
it
event.
has to be done during open season.
Okay, great,
Yes.
thank you.
Hi, who do I notify if I would like to see who I have on file for my beneficiary?
You actually can review that yourself through EOPF. So on the AMS profile, all of us have an AMS profile. EOPF, the electronic official personnel folder, is a link on your AMS profile. So all you have to do is click EOPF, and it will give you access to all of your personnel records. It would be beneficiary forms if you have it on file, your SF50s that will show any promotions or within grade increases, as well as your election form for your benefits. So oftentimes, some employees will review the EOPF and say, I don't see one on file, then you likely didn't complete one. So if that's the case, you can then download the beneficiary forms off of OPM's website and then send it into your benefits specialist.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any questions on the line?
Is there any persons on the phone lines who would like to ask a question? You may do so now. I will unmute all the lines. Again, if there are any questions on the phone lines, you may do so at this time. Your phone lines are unmuted.
Yes, I have a question. If you live in Maryland, should your state tax be in Maryland? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, because mine says DC on my LES. Okay. And I guess the next question is, are these slides available for, will they be emailed, or is there a way I can get a copy of them?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you.
Will the slides be available to get a copy for us on the line who couldn't make it into the room?
Yes, ma'am. You can send an email to the CMS HR Center Help Desk, and they will be happy to send you the copy of the PowerPoint presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I have, I'm sorry, one other question regarding, I guess your EOPS. You said we can determine what our service date and all that is online. Is that correct?
When you say your service date, are you speaking of your service computation date?
Yeah, just to verify that, because I had a couple of breaks in service, and I just wanted to make sure that that date is accurate.
Okay, so you want to match what's on your SF50. So your latest SF50, there is a block that says service computation date. Your service computation date is on your SF50, and then you want to match that against what's on your LES, because your LES has a service computation date on there as well. If both of them are different, then there's a problem. You want to contact your benefits specialist. But also, since you indicated you had a break in service, you may still want to contact your benefits specialist just to review your service history to ensure your service computation date is correct, because there are more than one service computation date. The one that's on your LES and on your SF50 is for leave, which accounts for all of your federal service. However, if you had any refunded service for retirement or any FICA service, which you've only paid Social Security, that time generally is not included in your retirement service computation date. So you would want to reach out to your benefits specialist to review your service history to ensure they are correct. But your first step would be to look at your last leave and earnings statement as well as your last SF50 to ensure that those two dates are reflecting the same date.
Okay, thank you, because I do have some FICA that was in 1980 and 81, so that had some FICA service for there. Okay,
Yeah, so
thank you.
Yeah, you definitely want to reach out to your benefits specialist.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I had a question. How do you validate the Block 19, the cumulative retirement on your LES? I understand when we changed to DFAST back a decade or so ago, it restarted the calculation, and breaks in service restarts the calculation. So how do you validate what the correct total is?
You will need to contact us directly because we will need to submit a ticket to the PSD, the Payroll Services Division, to request your retirement, your cumulative retirement from the time you started at HHS until conversion of April 2005 to get your balances. Because your LES Block 19 starts from 2005 until current. That's what you contributed only.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
One last question. What is the maximum for the TSP for line 22? For block 22, what's the highest that percentage could be?
The percentage you elect is not, there is no max. You just have to be careful of the yearly max that you can contribute, which I believe is what, 18,500?
Yeah, so if you're asking what is the max that you can contribute to TSP for the calendar year, it's $18,000 for the year. If you're age 50 or over, you can do a catch-up for up to an additional $6,000 over the 18. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it is, because I guess in my line 22, there's a percentage. There's a number and then a percent versus a number. Does that make sense?
So I have to look at the leave and earnings statement. You said block 22, line 22, that percentage is what you're actually contributing.
Okay.
So in your leave and earnings statement, block 22, it says TSP data, and the percentage, that is the percentage that you elected to contribute into TSP per pay period.
Okay. All right. So how high can that percentage go?
It depends on the amount. That's based on your earnings. So for instance, if you elected 5% per pay period, it's 5% of your gross. And then you have to determine how much of that, how much for the calendar year that would give you total. Whenever you reach the max, which is the 18,000, if I'm not mistaken, your deductions will automatically stop. So there's some employees that just put in the max that they want to contribute per pay period. They may put 15%, they may put a dollar amount, $500 per pay period into TSP. If in the middle of the year or close to the end of the year, they've already reached the $18,000 max, their TSP contribution will automatically stop. So maybe for the remainder 3 or 4 pay periods, they won't see any TSP come out of their pay period, and that's because they've already reached the maximum of $18,000 for the year. So you kind of have to do the calculation of how much, whatever percentage you elect, how much of that per pay period is going into your TSP, and at what point during the year will you actually reach the maximum of $18,000. But either way, the deductions will automatically stop once you reach that max.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you much.
You're welcome.
Right, and also just to add to what Andrea just mentioned, we have to be mindful of, our deductions stopping too soon, like in October, November. Because if you're a FERS employee, when you go that route, you're going to be missing agency matching contributions, because when yours stops, everything stops. So you really need to gauge that so you don't lose money that could be placed in every pay period.
Hi, I have a question.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry. Can you tell me what box 19 represents, please?
Box 19 is your cumulative retirement contributions, what you contribute towards your retirement per pay period since you've been here with the agency.
Okay, so what does that actually mean? Like, does that mean if I was to separate tomorrow without fully retiring, this is the amount that I would walk away with?
You
That
would
would
need
be-
to make a withdrawal. If you're not retiring, you just resign, you want to withdraw those funds, you could. You're only going to receive what you contributed, not the agency's portion.
So what I contributed is in box 19?
That would be correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Can you tell me what the type in the type that says OASDI? Can you tell me the meaning of that?
It stands for Old Age Survivor Disability Insurance, which is also known as Social Security.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions on the line before we take questions in the central office?
Any other questions at this time? You may do so. Your lines are unmuted.
We're going to take the question in the central office.
I heard you say that once you reach the maximum of $18,500, that your TSP automatically stops. Did I hear that? Okay. Now my question is, once it stops, the following year, would I have to do a new TSP form? Or would it regenerate itself back into where I had started before?
It will start back up for the next calendar year. And it's $18,000 for the year, not $18,500. So the max is $18,000 for the year. Now, if you're doing a catch-up, you have to complete another form every year. So there's a difference between just the regular TSP contribution and the TSP catch-up, which is available to those age 50 and over that are already contributing the max of $18,000 in a calendar year. That you have to do a new form each year, or do a new election, each year.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the line? No? Okay, so that will conclude our presentation for today. Again, we have our two payroll specialists, Nellie Younger and Juanita Morton, that are available should you have any questions about your leave and earnings statements. And also, if you have any questions about your deductions as far as your benefits deductions for your health benefits, your TSP, your FAGLY, please reach out to your benefits specialist, which is either myself, Andrea Curtis, Stephanie Gates Edwards, Teresa Rudisil, or Linda Jackson. Thank you all. Have a good evening.